Yeah, okay, good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe in. Dropping heat like every season. Underdog like Willie Beeman. Classic like Dom singing. Blasting like bombs.
It's Monday night. We just watched Justin Herbert go limp dick on national television, and the two Harbaugh brothers fight it out. I'm Devin, that's Zane, and this is Buffet Sports. We're going to recap Week 12, do our predictions for Week 12, and do our QB corner. We're doing it all in one go. Let's jump in. Before we get into it, I just would like to open the show with a fantastic tweet.
All right.
Okay, so this was a post on Instagram. This is a screenshot from an Instagram comment section.
Yeah.
About Bo Nix being the rookie of the year. Okay. And
Algorithm's doing its job.
And they tweeted, so someone commented, or no, I think it's the opposite way around. It was a tweet about Jaden Daniels, something about Jaden Daniels. Long story short, someone commented, Bo Nix, ? Mm-hmm. Someone responded by saying, for what, ? Give Caleb Williams his weapons, and I promise you Caleb has twice his stats. Give Bo his weapons. Give Bo Caleb's weapons, and he has twice the stats. Think about that statement.
Okay, here's a question about that. Is it Bo goes to Chicago, or is it Sean Payton and Bo with the weapons?
No. Give Caleb Williams Bo's weapons, and Caleb Williams would have twice Bo's stats, is what he's saying.
Oh, that's what he's saying. Oh, I thought that you read it wrong because it was so ridiculous. That's got to be like rage bait.
I don't know.
That's got to be rage bait.
I have no idea, but I just sat there. I sat there for like 5 minutes trying to like
decipher it.
Trying to understand what he's saying.
But it is an interesting question. Who do you think would do better? Like they switch places. Caleb is with Sean with the weapons that the
coaches stay where they're at.
Coaches stay where they're at. Just the QB switch.
Oh, Caleb would do better.
So you're really high on Sean being a QB developer.
Yeah, I think so, and I think in that system, especially with that defense, I mean Caleb's like now you give him an actual head coach who's solid and all that stuff. I think he could be now. I think it's flipped. I don't think Caleb has wildly better stats.
Yeah.
I think the stats are basically flipped. Like I think you could just move their names. And
if you think about it, Caleb's lost a lot of games because of his defense, and Sean Payton's defense is
a couple.
Yeah, the Jaden Daniels one.
Yeah,
a couple like the field goal block, and then there was one where they went and they got a 3 and out. Well, they went 3 and out versus the Vikings, but then they let Hawker get a big play, and then they kick the field goal, beat the Bears. I don't know if any of those would happen with Sean Payton because Sean Payton's football team just seems like they're just
put together in the end of the game.
Yeah.
Which leads me to the next tweet here. My generation really witnessed Stephen Curry, LeBron James, Messi, Kobe Bryant, Ronaldo, Kanye. Kendrick Lamar, Drake, Usain Bolt, Mahomes, Ohtani, Mayweather, Tiger, Lil Wayne, Eminem, Klay Thompson, and Bo Nix. Can't think of a luckier generation.
Did they put Tom Brady in there?
That being said, the Broncos are 7-5, and we're in the 7th seed for the playoffs.
Hell yeah!
All right, that's how I had to open the show because nothing else particularly went well for me this week. Well, actually, that's not true. I hammered in my fantasy game. Absolutely ridiculous. I'll throw a screenshot up here. My boys came to play this week. All right, they came to play this week. I'm so proud of them. I should have gave the speech last week that no one wanted them, but I did.
Yeah,
and we're here.
He got rid of Debo and some other guy. He got Chuba back on his.
I gave up Debo and Rashad White, and I got Chuba Hubbard.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And hey, he's winning games. We
won our game this week, so that's fantastic here. So excited to see it. In other news, okay, go.
I got a quick question. I don't know how you're gonna feel about this, but have you heard about how Harrison Butker has been out? Right?
Yeah.
It came to my attention that kicker, he was on the practice squad for another team.
Yes,
he gets signed, and then within the same week, he's kicking an overtime field goal to win the game against the Panthers.
And he's never kicked an overtime. Yeah, in any level, he's never kicked an
Any
overtime. And he took. And well, here's the thing: the cherry on top to that is he had the option to go to the Chiefs practice squad, or to get signed to another team to be their starting kicker. I think it was the Vikings. I don't remember.
Vikings.
And he chose the Chiefs job because of the opportunity of longevity.
Yeah. So my question here is, what is this next man up mentality that the Chiefs have that every other team doesn't have? How in the hell can you have a kicker who's never kicked overtime? You put him in there, you bring him up within a week span, and all of a sudden he's just like, he's that guy. He's that guy.
It's the confidence. It's the confidence of just being a Kansas City Chief. I don't know what else to say other than it's literally just like, I know at the end of the day I've got the best quarterback in the NFL maybe ever behind me.
Yeah.
And no matter what I fuck up, someone's gonna pick up for me.
I'd understand if it was Jim. If Jim was like, look at you, man. He's like punching him in the chest. He's like, look at you. Come on, man. You got this. We brought you here for a reason. You're awesome. And he goes out and does it. But I don't know. The Chiefs.
Andy pulled him to the side and was like, look, I'll get you a burger.
What was it? Bundarooski.
That's racist. That's racist. I don't know how, but that's racist somehow. Bundarooski. In other news, Daniel Jones was cut from the New York Giants. He has said his goodbyes, and allegedly there are many playoff teams interested in signing him.
Bidding war going on for Daniel Jones. I never thought that sentence would exit anyone's mouth.
I don't either. But look, we talked about this, and the most perfect storyline of all time. I'm sure it's out there on the internet. If it's not, then you guys are dumb. Anyways.
And we're smart.
The opportunity for Daniel Jones to get released and then on Thanksgiving Day get signed by the Cowboys and go out and beat the Giants on Thanksgiving Day this Thursday. There's not much more magical in sports than that. Like that would be that would be so fun.
That would be now the question is does Jerry, I don't know, because Jerry makes really bad decisions. So he seems like he should have been the owner for the Giants with all the decisions the Giants have made. So it kind of makes sense that he's like, you know what? Let's play. Let's not only get
that's a
Daniel.
number 6 overall pick. We already have we already have a number 3 overall pick on our bench. Let's add another first round talent to our squad.
Yeah, he trades him. No, you can't even trade him. So he picks him up. He's like, I got a number 6 overall pick for money. I don't even have to give up a pick. I mean, this is a win.
Let's start him.
Gives him $40 million. But yeah, that would be probably one of the greatest moments in sports, I would say.
That would be awesome. On Thanksgiving, too, in the spotlight, that'd be awesome.
That would be
so awesome.
You know what's funny is that would be like another kind of Russell Wilson sort of scenario where gets the other team's paying him, comes to town. I don't think the Steelers have played the Broncos yet.
They did, week 2.
Did you win?
Justin wasn't playing, no.
Oh.
And Justin played. Russ wasn't playing. And we lost. It was Bo's second game in the league. So
damn.
That Steelers defense.
Anyways, that would have been it. Keeping it on quarterback.
Well, yeah, and keeping it like, and especially in the same season too. There's no off season in between.
Yeah. It's not even like a week in between he gets signed, and then he goes in, doesn't know anything, and he goes and he beats the Giants.
Yeah.
That would be absolutely insane. So keeping it on quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
We have White Man of the Week. Now, this one is very close to my heart. It's very close to my soul. It's almost like a long-lost lover has been reintroduced to me. I got in a fatal car accident. I forgot my memories. And I fall back in love with the woman I was going to marry. That's what it's like, but with a male quarterback who happens to be Caucasian. This week's White Man of the Week.
Is it the returning savior?
He is the most decorated QB that's ever been on this segment. I think he has like 3 White Man of the Weeks. This is his 4th. Mr. Will Levis.
Welcome back to the winning circle, Will.
A ginormous upset against the Houston Texans that we both think they're playoff contenders.
100%.
Will went 18 for 24, 278 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception. But that 1 interception reminded me of the reason I love Will. Because he threw the pick, and he immediately turns, starts running to the opponent's end zone. Head down. No, his own end zone. Head down, just sprinting. Now, does he make the tackle?
No.
No, he doesn't. Does he know where the guy is?
No.
No, because his head is completely down.
He might be the only other quarterback besides Tua to run with his head down.
Yes, but he knew he needed to make a move, and a move he did make.
Injury sustained in the first half. Levis has it intercepted. Jimmy Ward. He could go the whole way. He's got Levis to beat. Into the end zone. Touchdown, Texans.
Was it a correct move? No, it wasn't. But it's why we love Will Levis, because he just goes. He just goes. He does his thing. And if we really just kind of look at his stats, that injury, quote unquote, where he definitely didn't get benched, definitely was an injury, a shoulder injury. Ever since he came back from that injury, 18 for 24, that doesn't sound, that's nothing near. Like, he throws balls like Jared Goff. He's like a 55, like a 40 guy. Yeah. And then he's making.
It's this week.
I know.
Don't project this over.
I'm just saying, last week he had a low number of balls thrown with higher yards. This week he has it again, 2 TDs, 1 interceptions. This is without Monday night. I don't have the stats for Monday night, but he had the best passer rating this week.
It continued. Yeah.
Yeah. It probably continued, but until then he had the best passer rating. Yeah. So if Will can somehow, calm down the thoughts, the voices in his head telling him to throw it when he's getting sacked, he could be a legitimate quarterback. I believe in him. Let's just see if he could keep the demons from rising up inside of him.
Speaking of guys that shouldn't have been that have been busts that are starting to come back alive, let's talk about this Chiefs-Panthers game, because the Panthers almost pulled off. Zane almost called.
Yeah,
it was 27-30, and the Chiefs won by literally the skin of their balls. Okay, the Panthers ended up scoring a touchdown at the end of the game, converting a 2-point conversion, and drawing it close. The Chiefs ultimately, they're the Chiefs, so they go down, they lead a game-winning drive, they kick the field goal. But 27-30, man, we're gonna talk about it in QB Corner. But who is this guy Bryce Young, man? Who is this guy Bryce Young? We're not gonna get too much into it because we're gonna talk about it in just a second. But another overtime win. Vikings stop the slide, stop the little bit of I think this win, it's been a couple close wins throughout the week, but this was a really mental toughness game for Sam. He played a really good game, did not make mistakes, and led a game-winning drive in overtime. Is it the Bears? Yes. Is their defense pretty good? Yes. Is their offense hot and cold? Yes. So take it as you will. It's an in-division win, though, in the latter half of the year where Sam pulled it together, got a game-winning drive. Love to see it. And then, really, I bragged about my Broncos at the beginning of the show. Obviously, we beat the Raiders. Who's your daddy, Max Crosby?
Who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy, Max Crosby? I love seeing Bo just to go out there and sling the rock. It's so much fun. It was kind of nerve-wracking at the end of the game. I was a little bit nervous to be honest, but when you got Desmond Ridder coming in, you don't really have much to
worry about.
Worry about, bank on.
Yeah, so. You kind of got me on both sides since I've been here in Colorado watching him. I'm like, he is really good. Yeah. I was like, before I didn't really know. Yeah. He is pretty damn good. Yeah. He does throw he just makes great decisions. That's what I
that's the coaching part of it.
Yeah. Compared to everybody else, he makes the best decisions on when to break the pocket.
He looks like he's in a second contract. He looks like he looks like a franchise guy. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping we get some weapons here. Speaking of weapons, Kevontae Turpin.
Let's go, baby.
That man is a absolute. He is Weapon X. I'm gonna throw the video up in 3, 2, 1.
They can kick this thing deep. Line drive to Turpin, and it bounces through his legs. Here he comes. Kevontae Turpin spinning free. Here he goes. Fastest man Levis.
Boom.
Boom. You just saw it. That was the nastiest. That when I watched that, Zane was at the gym. I'm sitting there watching this, dude. When he hit that move at the very beginning of the play, I was like, well, he fumbled the ball, and then he picked it up, and I saw him do the move, and I was like, are we about to see Deshaun Jackson 2.0?
Yeah.
Because that's what that was. That's what it reminded me of. And then he just housed it. House call. And then, of course, the end of that game was absolutely insane. Austin Eckler died. Terry McLaurin had an 86-yard touchdown. That game was so wild. I was sitting here just hooping and hollering, going nuts. Shout out the Cowboys.
Yeah,
that's a
shout out the
massive win
Cowboys.
for no reason.
Shout out Cooper. Cooper was almost White Man of the Week again
Yeah.
for that game.
Yeah, they just, I mean, like, we thought that I thought at the beginning of the year that the Giants were going to be the, like, spoiler team to, like, screw some stuff up.
Yeah.
Turns out it's the Cowboys.
Yeah,
With
it is the
Cooper Rush.
Cowboys. Yeah, especially with that defense. They got all their guys back.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it just looks different.
Yeah.
It completely does. But that's also another good point to, like, maybe we should move that penalty when you kick it out of the back of the end zone to like the 35, the 40, because you get moments like that.
Yeah.
Like that kick wasn't supposed to go to Turpin. That was supposed to go out of the back of the end zone,
Yeah.
but they gave it to Turpin. You get that legendary moment. We need more of that in the
That was
NFL.
crazy, bro.
Yeah, I would say game ball.
Game ball,
Game
Kevontae
ball,
Turpin.
Kevontae
Weapon
Turpin.
X.
Hell yeah, Weapon X.
Weapon X. Another in-division matchup that was just awesome to see was the Cardinals-Seahawks game. That was a fight for the division title. Seahawks beat the Cardinals. The Cardinals get bumped out. This was in the plan. So I'm not reeling quite yet. I'm not willing to like come off of the Cardinals yet. Pause. But certainly a big game for the
Still got
Seahawks.
some slobbing
This
left
is
to do.
This is 2 weeks in a row that Gino has said, all right, we're gonna win. We're gonna stop beating ourselves. We're gonna win these games. We're gonna be the team we were at the beginning of the year. So huge win there. And then does Saquon Barkley have a more legitimate like argument at MVP than like we talked about last year? Like, okay, Tyreek is on pace for a 2K.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey, I can't even speak because it was just I'm just thinking about his highlights. It's ridiculous. Like Christian McCaffrey was so insane last year. So I don't
think
have
this
words. He's so insane.
This is the first running back in
Since AP.
in a long time since AP to have a legitimate conversation for MVP, especially if you've been watching the games, you know, second half comes, Saquon closes games. He is the
and
closer.
then you get and then they get the close up on Jalen just smiling like
Yeah.
a little kid who just stole candy. He's
Yeah,
just like
man.
he's smiling like a kid who accidentally saw tits. He's like,
Yeah. And it's not these meaningless, pointless yards or touchdowns
No.
that we see.
No.
It is like he is closing out games
in the third quarter.
in very important moments
In
and
the
he's
third
still
quarter.
going. He's getting like 50-yard plus runs in
Yeah.
the third, fourth quarter when you're supposed to be tired.
Yeah.
I think he's for sure. I mean, this is
gotta
the
be in the
second time I've
conversation.
said this because we said it about Jared Goff.
Yeah.
But this is a real one. I mean, he just
Yeah.
passed Derek. I'm pretty sure Derek didn't get back his spot in today's game. I think Saquon is still now officially number one.
Is running back in the league?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yards,
Everything.
except for touchdowns. Derek has more touchdowns, but
I don't even know.
no, it was 7 to
think it's
5.
close.
It was like 7 to 5.
No.
Here's the
Saquon
thing,
has
though.
8 rushing. Well, had 8 rushing going into that game. So
Here's the thing, though, is that Derek's 30. We know Derek's 30. That's why it's so impressive what he's doing.
yeah.
It's been really tough defenses, but at the same time, it could also be that his age is showing. I hate saying it because he's my boy. I'm a Ravens fan. But
Yeah.
Saquon just looks more energized.
The numbers are video game numbers. Dude.
They're video.
This is
and
stuff that you do in
he's
Madden
making
career.
like Derek. Yes, his stiff arm is legendary. His arm should be in the Hall of Fame. Just his arm for the amount of stiff arms and just putting people on their backs. But Saquon is consistently just making these mind-boggling plays.
Yeah.
Consistently week to week.
Yeah.
And honestly, I kind of hate that he's on the Eagles.
I've,
I'm not an Eagles hater, but I would have loved.
if they make a run in the playoffs, it's completely because of him.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what we're seeing is that Jalen Hurts, everybody's kind of struggling, and then Saquon's that igniter.
So anything else you want to add to this before we go to QB Corner?
During that Eagles game, they were talking about a penalty, and Colin Cowherd, right? No, Colin Collinsworth.
Collinsworth.
Mr. Collinsworth. He was talking. He was like, "Yeah, if it's backyard football, I probably wouldn't have called that, but like it's still a penalty." Are there any backyard football rules that you think they should implement into the Pro Bowl?
Into the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, because obviously you can't do it in the NFL. You have to stick, but like the Pro
It's
Bowl,
like two-hand touch.
yeah, like the Pro Bowl, any backyard football rules you would implement? For me, obviously, I think you should even out the teams.
I think it would be really fun to see like an all-time QB.
An all-time QB is good.
Yeah.
I think it would be fun to do that, and I think everybody's a wide receiver. Everyone's a wide receiver.
Oh.
It's the Pro Bowl,
Yeah.
like everyone, like anybody can go up for a long ball or a pass.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't thought about the Pro Bowl in years. If I'm being completely honest with you, that's why I have nothing to say because I'm like the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. Well, if it was in the NFL, I mean, honestly, anybody can go for a pass. I'd be fine if that was in the NFL. If just a regular season game, like a center could go grab a ball.
Oh, I think you'd get into weird stuff. I think it's
100%.
I think
the offense would be way too powerful.
Yeah, you would. It wouldn't be fair.
The last one would be because you always have your captains, right? Who pick the teams. When it comes to penalties, it's a captain's decision. So both captains, right? Obviously, they got to be
Are there penalties in the Pro Bowl?
I don't know. I have no clue. But if there are, it should be obviously it's got to be two good guys who are they're not just going to be no, it's not a penalty no matter what.
Is the Pro Bowl voted on, or is it just or is it the all pros go? Because I think
you make all pro because of the AP voters.
Because I would rather see it in a basketball setting where it's voted on all stars, because it would be super fun to see just these the people's champs in the NFL, because there's a bunch of unsung heroes that guys really like that they don't get shine, and the Pro Bowl is the opportunity for that. So I would like to see something like that.
I do think it would be very interesting to see what penalties the players care about compared to what the refs do.
I just don't think there is penalties in two-hand touch.
Yeah. I mean, I have no clue. But if there were penalties, I would like to see what the players themselves care about compared to the refs. And I think that'd be a cool little addition. Just kind of get brought back down to reality of what the NFL guys care about, because there is a lot of that where it's anyways, that's the backyard rules I would like.
Well, I think the whole thing with backyard rules is that there aren't any penalties. We didn't call penalties at school.
No, you did. You would call penalties.
Bro. We would never call. There wasn't any penalties other than it was we'd all agree. It was a group decision.
Everyone.
He threw him against the fence. It's pass interference.
Yeah. What if it was 90% of everyone on the field has to agree for a penalty to go across?
You raise your hand or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Sure.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I mean, it's the Pro Bowl.
Call your own fouls or something like that, like basketball.
Fouls,
Call your own. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I like it. All right, let's go to QB Corner off the back of our recap. This is QB Corner, in which Zane and I rank the top 10 quarterbacks from the previous week going into the next week based on statistical greatness, the feeling in our balls, and level of difficulty. This is QB Corner. Let's get into it. Number 1 on this week's list. This is a balls pick. This is a feeling pick. This is a heartwarming one. I have Jameis Winston at number 1. Beating the Steelers in the snow, looking like a kid. That rushing touchdown, that's just a straight balls pick for me. I'm totally I know that there's guys that played a better statistical game, but that was just it was Jameis Winston football.
Yeah, it was. It was.
From from pregame to postgame, it was just heartwarming Jameis Winston football.
Yeah. And, I respect your balls. I do. I respect your balls. I didn't think that you could have put a number 1 that I wasn't going to counter, but you found a way this week. There's no way. Once you brought that up, I forgot that game happened. I was 100%. Jameis definitely deserves number 1.
All right.
In the snow, I mean, he had a bunch. he probably would have had a way better statistical game. Some of those guys
Yeah,
caught them.
I mean,
if
dude.
Njoku caught that easy touchdown pass.
He was still 18 for 27, 219, 1 interception, 3 rushes, 7 yards, and that rushing touchdown.
Yeah,
There
you
was
see him squinting to the
Yeah,
snow,
the whole time just
throwing the ball. Yeah, he deserves number one for
Okay.
sure.
All right, so number 1, Jameis Winston. 2, I have Tua Tagovailoa.
That was my number one.
Really?
That's who I was going to put number
Okay.
one, but Jameis obviously
Okay.
sold that. But, I mean, nobody played better than Tua this week.
Yeah, in terms of touchdowns, and I mean, he was 29 of 40.
Yeah.
317, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. It's New England, but 4 touchdowns, far and away the most like productive quarterback, you could argue, this week. So I've got Tua at 2. We're okay with that?
Yep.
Okay, Tua at 2. After Tua at 2, I have Samuel Darnold. I played at Chicago. We talked about it. 22 of 34, led a game-winning drive in overtime. 330 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. For me, level of difficulty, we know what the Bears defense is, number 1. 2, mental toughness to be able to pull that game out, not go pumpkin mode and sell the game, and continue to be one of the sneakiest 9-2 teams we've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I've got Sam at 3. How do we feel about that?
I got a lot of guys here,
Mm-hmm.
but none of them really get to the level that Sam did, especially with how much smack I've been talking about, like Sam and the
Mm-hmm.
Vikings as a whole. I'm like, they're sliding. I mean, this was like, they're like, yes, we're back.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that was just a couple of flukes, and we still won those fluke games, by the way. So like, we're back. We're
Yeah.
fully ready
Yeah.
to go to the playoffs. I think Sam deserves it.
Sam at 3. All right, Sam at 3. At 4, the game that happened tonight, I didn't think I was going to end up having a quarterback from tonight's game on here, but looking at the stats, Lamar, 16 of 22, pretty efficient there, 277, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 7 rushes, 16 yards, 1 touchdown. So 3 total touchdowns, about 190 total yards is where I have him. It's a big game. There's the next guy on the list is a bigger moment for him, but this is a bigger moment for the Ravens and for what it actually means in the grand scheme of the NFL playoffs.
Yeah, you're picking really good guys right now because I didn't have any of the Monday nights. I just went with my list, but it was the Harbaugh Bowl.
Yeah.
Right. So it had a lot of significance there. So you're picking guys that fit with what I grade on.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's put Lamar there.
Okay, Lamar at 4. This is where at number 5 here, you're going to like this. I've got Will here at 5.
See, okay, so I have other guys here.
Okay.
But Will is my 5.
Okay.
I just left out the other guys. that I have
Okay.
here.
I have Will at 5. Huge upset against
upset.
Houston.
Ginormous.
Like you said, very efficient play, 18 to 24, 278, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. I'll look past it. But at halftime, I read the stats to you. He only had I think 3 incompletions at halftime or something like that. Yeah. So really, really complete game. Like you said, just played it through.
A different type of Will we saw.
Yeah, and beating Houston, it's an in-division game.
Yeah.
That hurts them a lot and potentially drops them out of the playoffs. So playing a little bit of spoiler there, I think it was a big game for Will. Back-to-back games where he's looked like a viable quarterback.
He's looked like an actual quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't look like Taysom Hill, but without like the rushing yards and the touchdowns, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I like that.
Okay, Will at 5? Okay, now at 6, toss-up here. I have... you can go kind of either way with these two guys. I've got Bo Nix at 6 and Cooper Rush at 7. Mm-hmm. Bo Nix's game, obviously, it means more in the grand scheme of things over Cooper Rush. He was 25 of 42, not the greatest completion percentage. 273, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. We saw the ball he threw to Cortland Sutton. He's starting to pull away. I think personally, I'm biased, of course, in the Rookie of the Year race. Whereas on the other side, obviously, massive upset win for Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush also had was 24-32, 247, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. So very similar stat line. It really, to me, in between those two, I look at it and say, you know, whose storyline do you like more in that? Do you have a counter for either of them, or do you like either of those?
Out of these two, I was going to go Cooper because I specifically have said that the Commanders are for real, and that includes their defense. So if this was before I said that, then I could go like, oh, yeah, Commanders' defense, obviously. They're not as good as their offense. But I already said when they played the Steelers and when they played the Ravens, they tested amazing. And I believe that Commanders' defense is for real.
Okay.
So I think it's just a step up from what the Dallas Cowboys have been. And I think it's more impressive than beating the Raiders.
That's
Especially
fair.
because you
There's
guys already mollywopped.
Yeah, there's some luck involved in that game too, though, because
Oh, yeah.
the Cowboys or the Commanders definitely just had a special teams game from hell and shanked that. And I mean, the game tying extra point, they just shanked it and ended the game there. So I'm fine with going with it for the storyline, especially having Cooper Rush being the backup coming off of that and just getting like a heart win.
Yeah.
Do you have a counter to Cooper Rush then between those two?
Here's the thing. I don't have his rushing, but I know he rushed for a TD. I don't know how we're feeling about rushing TDs. Baker Mayfield. 24 for 30, 294, 0 interceptions, 0 TDs, but I know he rushed for a
Yeah, he was 4 for 29, 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
But it's the Giants.
It is the Giants.
It is the Giants.
And I do like Cooper Rush more than
Yeah.
I like Dallas beating Washington more than that.
Okay, so Rush at 6?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we can put Bo. I don't have a guy
you want-
who I would put over Bo here.
Okay.
I feel fine with a Baker going underneath that unless you have a counter for that.
I for 8 basically or 7. I've got Mahomes there. They beat the Panthers.
Yeah.
But it was 269, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 5 rushes, 60 yards, no touchdowns rushing.
I do want to talk about that a little bit because if you remember last year, we were talking about I think they were playing Green Bay. Patrick is running towards the sideline. He gets smacked. Whole world gets set on fire. You shouldn't have smacked him. There's no foul in the play. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Look at what he's been doing this year. He's been doing these really late quarter, like times running out. He's going to the sideline. People are giving up because they think he's going to go to the sideline. Boom, he pops it for a long rush.
Playing the game.
He's playing the game.
Yeah.
But again,
It's the Panthers.
it's the Panthers, and they let it go to a 3 points.
So which one's more impressive? Baker, no touchdowns, no interceptions, rushing touchdown, or Mahomes, 3 touchdowns against the Panthers?
I think it's how you feel about it because it's like, do you think that that's impressive versus the Panthers when they almost lost? I mean, I know a lot of people don't like us saying luck on this program, but I mean, like, what do you call it? It's the Panthers for crying out loud.
To me, I kind of at this point am just like, to me, I like the Mahomes thing better because it's just the like
they've done it so much.
they've done
that
it
it's not
so
luck.
many times. Yes,
Yeah, they've
it's
done it
like,
so much.
right. It's just like how many times can you count him out?
Yeah, like what is his stats when it comes down to like fourth quarter needing a score?
Right, that's
like
what I'm
this
saying.
This season he's got to be 99%.
And
except
he
for the Bills
basically alone on one of his rushes of 60 yards, his longest rush of the game basically set them up for the field goal.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how many times can you do this? I know it's a 3-point game with the fucking Panthers.
Yeah, it's
but
so
like,
crazy.
But like, how many times can you do this?
I know. It's so crazy. It just doesn't like feel right.
It doesn't feel right.
But I agree with you. I agree with you because it's like eventually when it comes to Patrick, it comes to a point where maybe it's not luck when it's Patrick. Maybe that's just like how he is.
He just lives for the moment.
Yeah, he lives for the moment.
So do you want to put him above Bo? Do you want to put him at 7 and put Bo at 8 then?
No, he can't.
Okay.
Because Raiders defense, especially, we're going to see it. We're going to see Raiders versus the Chiefs.
Yes, that's right.
With how it's going. I mean, Raiders defense way better than the Panthers defense.
So Bo then Pat. At 9, I have Bryce Young. For the exact opposite reason. Yes. Yeah. I have Bryce at 9, 21 to 35, 263, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, 3 rushes, 20 yards. He lost. If you want to put Baker here, I'm willing. I have a couple guys in 10 that I think could slide into that role too. I originally didn't have Baker in the top 10, but
so now that we have our first lost QB, I will counter with another lost QB that I thought played great, Caleb Williams. 32 for 47, 340, 2 TDs, losing in overtime. They couldn't get it when they got the onside kick. They went 3 and out, field goal, but he still played a great game. They still fought to the very end. And I mean, as much as I might doubt the Vikings as like a real team, they're still like going to make the playoffs this year. So like almost beating a team that's going to be probably a higher seed in the playoffs. To me, it's more impressive.
Okay. My argument was going to be with this where
it is a heart pick, dude. And it doesn't make me feel good that I'm not having Bryce in here because that is a heart pick, right?
My one counter with Caleb is Jaden Daniels. 25 of 38, 275, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 7 rushes, 74 yards, and a rushing touchdown. And then that 186-yard last minute to make it a game. So I get what you're saying. I feel like of the two, the Commanders definitely like lost that game.
Yeah.
The Bears put up a good fight to where I can see it. I really like Bryce here, but I'm okay if we want to put Caleb at 9 because it really is the first time we're seeing him like really click and have a good game like start to finish arguably.
Yeah, I want to put him 9.
Okay.
I think this is even the games where he went off, I don't feel like he really made the list like he did this week.
Can you go to your room? You're making me nervous, man. This guy. Go to your room.
This guy.
Jesus, dude, this dog. If you haven't seen a tail poking around, this guy's been pacing around, making me nervous. Okay, let's get 10, and then let's get to these predictions. I'm ready. I'm foaming at the mouth with these predictions here. So 10, the guys I had at 10 were now we can throw Bryce into this, but guys I had at 10: Bryce, Love, Stafford, Jaden Daniels. Those are the guys I had all 4 at 10 because I don't really like. Love beat the Niners. Defense is banged up, but it's an important game.
Very important.
But not really a big statistical game. Stafford lost to LA or to Philly. If Saquon doesn't happen, they probably make that a game.
Really close game.
Played really well. Had his longest rush of the year. 1 for 15. Bryce, obviously, we just talked about him. Jaden Daniels, obviously, just talked about him. So, like, I kind of have them all there at 10.
I think it's between Matthew and Bryce because Josh Jacobs had 3 touchdowns in that game. So it's less Jordan as much as it was Josh. As you just said, if Saquon's not in that game, it is probably a close game.
I would argue, though, with Jaden Daniels, too, he did it without Brian Robinson Jr.
Yeah, because he went out. Yeah, he went out.
And he didn't, and outside of the Terry McLaurin, he was just, they were kind of.
I think the only reason I would keep him out of the 10 spot is 2 picks. And I don't know if those picks were because of him, if it was because of the
one of them definitely at the end of the game was just like him being not making a good play. So I really want to put Bryce here bad, dude.
It's between Bryce.
Do you want to go A and 10 A and B, Bryce and Stafford?
Yeah, let's put them there.
Okay. The boys, both of them.
Yeah.
Stafford and
both guys
and Bryce.
Who got our hearts
Stafford.
in a non-homosexual way.
Okay, here's the top 10. We've got Jameson Williams at 1, Tua at 2, Sam Darnold at 3, Lamar Jackson at 4, Will Levis at 5, Cooper Rush at 6, Bo at 7, Patrick Mahomes at 8, Caleb Williams at 9, and the 2 boys who have our heart paws, Matthew Stafford and Bryce Young at 10. Congratulations, guys. You guys are on the mountain here. Next week, we're going to really start having a serious conversation about MVP because there's a theme throughout these. So
I do have something for you that I forgot to bring up.
Okay.
I need you to guess these rookie wide receivers based on their stats.
Okay. Is this their season stats or game stats?
Season
for
stats.
This week. Okay.
First wide receiver, 671 yards. 67 receptions on 103 targets with 3 TDs. The first guy. Any guesses?
It's not Brian Thomas Jr. It's not Malik Neighbors. It's Roma Dunze.
Nope.
Okay.
Let me get you to the second guy.
Okay.
600. Man, I didn't draw this right. 689 yards, 42 receptions on 63 targets, and 5 TDs.
Is that Xavier Worthy?
Nope.
These are receivers, not
Yep.
tight ends are not included.
Nope.
42 of 63, and the other guy was what?
67 of 103.
Rome hasn't gotten that many targets.
Yeah. The targets.
Worthy hasn't either.
The targets for the 103, that's a big one. That'll get you there.
And how many touchdowns does the first guy have?
First guy has 3 touchdowns. So the guy with 103 targets has 3 touchdowns. No. Here, let me give you the first guy because the second guy is what I want you to really know about. Okay. The first guy is Malik Neighbors.
He only has 5 touchdowns?
No, he has 3.
He only has 3?
Yeah.
I thought he had more than that because I thought he was a scoring machine at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, Malik has 671 yards off of 67 receptions with 103 targets and 3 touchdowns.
I mean, that was wide receiver 1 in New York.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me get the second guy.
Now, the second guy has 689 yards with 42 receptions, 63 targets, and 5 TDs.
Is that not Xavier Worthy?
Nope.
It's not Xavier Worthy. And it's not, I don't think that's Brian Thomas Jr., is it? Is it Brian Thomas Jr.?
Yes.
Okay.
Brian Thomas Jr. is the most productive wide receiver out of this rookie class.
That's my boy.
The only
Auto
person,
pick, baby.
Yeah, bro. The only person that beats him, Brock Bowers.
I mean, it makes sense. Look, I'm going to be hanging on to him.
You have to.
He's going to be, I mean, that was literally a fifth round auto pick. That was just by accident.
Bro, he has more yards and TDs with 30 less receptions.
Yeah.
30 less targets.
Yeah.
That's crazy. When I saw the stat, I was like, Dev has to know.
Yeah.
He has to know that he has a gem in his lineup.
Yeah.
Keep holding on to him for sure.
I will be. If they can figure out the quarterback situation and the run game there, he could be an animal.
Yeah.
And he has been an animal anyways.
Yeah, he's a star.
He's
a star for sure.
All right, let's get into our conviction predictions. Week 13. We've got a massive slate. It's Thanksgiving week. It's the greatest week in football. We have 3 Thursday games. We've got a Black Friday game. We've got a Sunday night game. We've got a Monday night football game. Oh my God, I'm foaming at the mouth for this. We're starting.
I'm going to come.
In Detroit. My father's watching this game. Bears, Lions. What do we got here? I'm going Lions. It's not even a question. Hammering it.
Okay, so give a quick overview of your father's relationship with the Lions.
My dad has no idea what the Lions are. So the last time, he grew up in Michigan, outside of Detroit, is a Pistons fan, was a Lions fan. He is not a sport guy, but when he does watch, like, he had no idea they were this good. We thought they were this good last year. He watched them on Thanksgiving last year. If you remember the game, it was a goof game. It was not good. So this is a big moment for my father to see his Lions on top of the NFC 10-1. So
so the last time he saw the Lions is when they got
last Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they got bounced last Thanksgiving. Now we sat him down and we went through the games of like, your Lions are for real. And he texted us and he is so excited to watch this Thanksgiving game.
He'll be here 10:30 sharp.
He'll be here 10:30 sharp for that. So the Lions are going to lose.
You bastard.
No, because...
You're picking the Bears?
Yeah, I'm picking the Bears, but I don't want them to win, but the Lions are going to lose because he's going to be excited. He's going to show up after we've been talking up the Lions.
No.
They're going to have a goof game, and he's going to be like, what in the hell did you guys get me over here for?
No, I don't believe it. The Bears are going to get mollywopped in Detroit. There's no shot.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I'm only picking the Bears because it's just like, and he believes he's a curse for the Lions. When he watches the Lions,
my dad does, yes.
Yeah, he thinks he's a curse for him. So I'm predicting that the curse continues. The only time this year he will watch the Lions is when they lose, just like last year. And his pain and suffering for him, not Lions fans, because Lions fans have not been in pain and suffering. Yeah. But for him, his suffering will continue.
I hope not. Next Thursday game, the boys are playing at home. The Cowboys are playing at home versus the Giants. The Cowboys have not won a home playoff game, or a home game this year. They're the only North American team in professional sports that has not won a home game.
Really? Like in all of ball?
like baseball, football, basketball.
In all of ball history, they haven't done it this year.
In all of ball this year, pretty much. They're the only team.
Jesus.
So the streak continues. Tommy DeVito is going to walk into Dallas and win this game. It won't be versus Daniel. So I feel good picking.
Well,
this
let's put
team.
an asterisk on it.
No.
Oh, you don't want an asterisk?
No.
Okay.
I'm picking the Giants straight.
Okay. Shoot. Then I have to go Cowboys, but I have to go it based off of that. I think I won't do an asterisk. I'll pick them no matter what, but I am hoping that Daniel gets signed and then the legendary movie that we all have in our head gets played out in real life.
I don't think it's going to happen. That's why I'm picking the Giants.
Yeah, I'll just go with that because I'm a hopeful child.
Okay, the last Thursday game, I guess this is Thursday night football. Finns Packers, weird spot. Weird spot. The Finns are coming off of a 2-game win streak. Is it for real? Is it not? The Packers are just flat out a better football team. And so we're going to see that. This is in Lambeau, so expect the Dolphins to come out with icicles on their nuts.
Yeah.
Tua in the cold, concussions hurt more. So
Gotta be more hydrated.
Yeah, gotta be more hydrated. This game smells like a rout just from miles away. The Dolphins stink like ocean shit. So this is a Packers all the way.
I have such a hard time like going with you when you just say all those things about the Dolphins, but I don't think they're going to win in Lambeau because we've seen that their crutch is the cold. Like that amazing team that they had last year where they dropped 70 on an unnamed team was all like during good weather, and then you get to Kansas City and like they were just so unproductive and they didn't even look like a real incapable.
Yeah.
So just based off of weather, nothing to say about Tua, Jonnu, Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, Achane, Moser. God, there's a lot of guys on that team. There's a lot of stars on that team. Holy shit. Nothing bad to say about them just because of the weather, because it will be in Lambeau. It's going to be a cold
And Josh
game.
Jacobs is coming off of a hat trick.
A hat trick. I'm going to go with the Packers as well.
We'll see if the Packers can overcome the curse. Now, Black Friday, we head to Kansas City where they are going to play the Raiders. Raiders are obviously coming off of a loss to the Broncos. Gardner Minshew, broken collarbone. We get Desmond Ridder. So I've been perfect all but 1 week.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with the Chiefs here. I was going to take the upset, but I was like, you know what? I'm taking the freaking Chiefs. I was thinking about it yesterday, and then Gardner just destroys his collarbone. Well, we destroyed his collarbone, so I'm gonna go Chiefs here. I don't think the Raiders it's a short week. Desmond Ridder. I don't know. I'm going Chiefs.
Yeah, I don't know. It does. I mean, the Chiefs they're not God anymore.
Yeah,
right.
They're mortal.
Yeah, they're mortal now. We've seen crazy things happen with Aiden O'Connell at the helm with the Raiders.
I guess he's going to be the starter, yeah.
No, he's got a broken thumb.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why Desmond came in, just because he's got a broken thumb. I'm just
I
saying
saw some
that
sort of tweet about him. Go ahead.
Maybe he's coming back in. But I'm just saying that I'm not a big Aiden O'Connell like guy. I don't believe that he's the guy for the Raiders, but they were able to beat the Chiefs, and it was off of the back of that defense. I think if there is a time for the Chiefs to have troubles and lose a game, it is versus their so-called arch nemesis with flipping Max Crosby.
On Black Friday.
On Black Friday. I mean, Black Friday. You know who wears black? The Raiders.
Aiden O'Connell has officially returned to practice.
Ooh, so it would be, I'm pretty sure Aiden threw like 2 picks in that game. Either way, Aiden might be back. I'm smelling a little bit of an upset. I mean, they beat the Panthers by 3 points. We know that just seems to be how the Chiefs are playing. I'm a little hopeful here.
Okay.
I'm going to go Raiders.
Okay. He's going to go Raiders. All right, we head to Sunday night where we get the Bills at home versus the 49ers. I don't think we need to talk about this game too much. I think the Niners are just disheveled. We don't really know what the injury status of their guys are, and I kind of question if they're just going to call it a year.
Yeah.
Because I think I could be wrong, but it feels like they're pretty much out of the playoffs with, the Cardinals being at the top of that division, and then the Seahawks beating them,
Yeah,
it
I want to
feels
say
like they're out.
the stat was they dropped to 15% of making
it's something like 18%.
or 18% to make the playoffs after they lost that game.
Yeah.
So I think the core guys that were built before all of these other guys came in will still be playing. I don't believe in like Debo's mentality to keep playing. I don't believe in, I don't know, maybe Trent Williams.
Well, I just don't even know if Brock's going to play, and if he doesn't, then Brandon Allen, we clearly know, is not capable of winning a football game.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. Like, give me the Bills. I mean, that is a team that is on a mission. 49ers seem to have lost their mission. Just give me the Bills.
Okay. Now, Monday night, we got Browns-Broncos. We've been talking about this, and I have no idea how this game's going to be. It's going to be in Empower. It's in Denver, so it could be snowing. It could not. If it's snowing, I don't want to bet against Jameis.
Yeah, I don't want to bet against
But
him either.
at the same time, I think that we're a more complete team. I think that we were a more complete team. I think we can do the little things better. And ultimately, I think if Jameis is pick prone, and we have got a great secondary aside from Jaquan McMillan. Please, fucking cut him. I'm so tired. Every fucking week, there's at least 3 passes in which Jaquan McMillan cannot keep his hands off of somebody or just gives up a ball, and it drives me insane. Send him to the XFL. Back to the XFL, please. If you're watching this, Jaquan, do better. For that, I'm still taking the Broncos.
Okay, this is going to sound like a dig at the Broncos. I hope you don't take it that way. But if the Broncos were better, if the Broncos were a high-powered offense with a lot of weapons, or a team with one of the best defenses in the league, like
It is a Jerry Jeudy return game.
yeah, a great D-line, great edge rusher, like where it's the Browns could never win this game, I would take the Browns because they beaten the Ravens and the Steelers. But because I feel like your team isn't that star-studded compared to the teams that they have beat, I will also go with the Broncos because it just seems the Browns can only beat in-division rivals who are extremely good at football.
You're invicting the curse on us. I really hope we win this game because if that is the case, we would be 8-5, and I'm 1 win away from my prediction. And every single one of you can lick my balls.
Yeah, I thought the Panthers were going to be so good this year. I really did. And then they had troubles, put Andy in there, sold their entire team. Bryce is playing great now. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to think about him.
All right, we now are going to go to our 2-minute drill. 2 minutes or less. This is what we have to do to keep this under 2 minutes so we actually rapid fire. So there's 2 minutes on the clock. We have to rapid fire through the rest of these games. We have to keep words to a minimum. So in 3, 2, 1. Colts versus Pats. I'm taking the upset. Give me the Pats.
Give me the Pats as well.
All right. Now we head to Steelers-Bengals in Cincinnati in division game. This is important. Upset, taking the Bengals.
Taking the Bengals? I'll take the Pats.
Take the Steelers?
I'll take the Steelers. God damn.
Chargers, Falcons. We have the Chargers visiting the Falcons. They're coming off of this loss on Monday Night Football. The Falcons are coming off of a disheveled, beat down by the Broncos. They got the bye week. I lean towards the Chargers here. I don't think the Falcons are for real.
Yeah, I want the Chargers to win. Give me the Chargers.
Okay. Seahawks, Jets. I want to see the Jets burn, so give me the Seahawks.
Give me a crazy upset. Give me the Jets.
Okay, we're split. Texans, Jags, in division game. Can I have an asterisk on this one?
Yeah, sure.
If Trevor Lawrence plays, it's a Jags win. If he doesn't win, if it's not a Trevor Lawrence game, then it's the Texans.
Yeah, just give me the Texans straight up.
Okay. So Zane, and then I'm in the middle with my little asterisk. Okay. Cardinals, Vikings. Cardinals. I'm taking the Cardinals.
Give me the Vikes. Give me the Vikes.
Vikes straight up. Okay. Titans, Mandos in the nation capital.
Give me the Titans.
All right, I'm taking the Mandos. All right, Buccaneers, Panthers, another in-division game.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Bucks are going to win.
Yeah, Bucks are going to win. Yeah, I got to go with the boys.
And then we have Rams, Saints in New Orleans.
Ooh.
Upset game. I'm taking the Saints.
Taking the Saints. Give me the Rams.
Okay. Final game, 14 seconds. Eagles, Ravens, massive game, 2 o'clock slot, basically a standalone. I'm taking the Eagles.
Give me the Ravens. I have to take the Ravens, no matter what.
We've done it. 2-minute drill with 2 seconds to spare.
That's going to be, I'm going to get so tired of listening to them talk about Derrick Henry versus Saquon Barkley, and then they bring up the stats for the 12th time.
It's going to be a great game.
It's going to be a great game.
It's going to be
fantastic
a great
game.
It's going to be a great game. It could get really out of hand either way, though.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, it could get really out of hand. I don't know if we're going to get Devontae in that game, too.
Yeah, and Ravens defense are great at stopping the run. We'll see if anybody can stop Saquon. I don't think anybody can, but if there's a team to do it, it would be the Ravens.
It would be the Ravens.
If Roquan's playing.
A couple quick points that I have to point out because we've been watching more college football than I thought we were going to. Number one, when are we going to move the refs out of the linebacker? Like, when are we going to take the middle judge of the refs out of the middle linebacker spot? What are we doing? This is a contact sport. What the why do we have these men that are unpadded in the middle of the field 10 yards off the ball?
Yeah, there was it's just in general. I mean, they don't do it in the NFL anymore. I think they do have one guy, but he's like 20, 30 yards back. But, I mean, we saw it like Travis Hunter missed the tackle because there was a guy in the way.
And then he got almost tackled because there was a guy in the way.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's so weird that college refuses to change. I mean, they just finally have a real playoff, and then they still have these like sort of high school rules where there's I don't even know if they do it in high school where they have refs at the 10-yard line, like 10 yards behind.
Also, let's just change the 1 foot rule to 2 at this point. Everyone's trying to do 2 anyways.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're a guy, like let's say like you're a scout and you see a wide receiver and they're standing there and like you look through the film, they are only ever doing 1 foots. Like most of their catches are 1 foots. That's going to be docked on your flipping combine score. I mean, that's going to be docked on your scouting report. Like, why do it? Everybody wants you to have, you're all trying to get to the NFL. That's what everybody's dream is. Just make it the NFL at this point. Put in the NFL kickoff. I mean, like, why even have the old kickoff?
I like leaving the old kickoff. I like some of the rules, but some of the, like, just like common stuff I think we should change. 3 other points. The Kansas Jayhawks are just like, what the I'll put the graphic up here of the 3 games that they've won against ranked teams. They don't have any business winning these games, but I love it. Thank you for beating the Buffaloes.
Thank you, Kansas.
That was beautiful. Number 2, I want to see Army in the college football playoff. I don't care what they're ranked. I want to see them in the college football playoff.
Yeah, they did get bounced by Notre Dame, but yeah, it would be fun just having like somebody who doesn't go with the format of college where it's like quick offenses, a lot of passing, you spread it out. Basically, just everybody plays a West Coast offense. Just have like
that's the people's champ.
Twin backs, you do a couple motions.
Triple read option.
Yeah, triple read option every single time. Let's go win a championship.
Yeah. So those are the 2. So Jayhawks, Army, and then what was the other one? Let's take the ref out of there. The last point here, apparently Ryan Williams is in the trade portal after they lost to Georgia.
Are you
or Indiana, whoever or Oklahoma?
If this is real, this is
it's all over Twitter, so I think it is.
If it is real, I mean, let's just go as it's real. It's a terrible look on the trade portal.
Not trade portal, transfer portal.
It's a terrible look on the transfer portal.
Yeah.
I would say like a guy who's for me, a guy who's young, who's 17. I know that like
we've talked about it. I think if you transfer, you shouldn't be able to play the next year.
Yeah,
and you should lose your eligibility.
I don't think
it should be more. It should have more consequences. You make a commitment to a team. A school is paying you not only in scholarship but also money. Yeah. You made a commitment in the real world as a man, because there's also the chance that these guys have a career-ending injury or something like that, and they have to go out in the real world and be normal people like us, and they aren't going to play NFL football.
Yeah.
Is the chance slim? Yeah.
Yeah.
But is there a chance? Yes. And there needs to be some consequences to your actions. And in the real world, you don't get the opportunity to to go to an Alabama and play football and then be like, I don't like it here anymore. We didn't win enough, and go to wherever else you're going to go.
Yeah. I just personally don't like it because you guys have been really great. You've been the star there. And then now, because I'm pretty sure they're like not in the playoffs anymore. They're not going to be there.
Yeah.
He's going to transfer. I don't like it. I think at the very least it should kind of be a mark on your resume when it comes to the NFL draft. The fact that you're willing after 1 year to just up and leave just because you guys aren't in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
If that's not the case, then I don't know. I think there should be some repercussions from it just because
I think there should be something like the same way like in the NBA to get a certain level of a contract, you have to get some sort of achievement to be able to qualify for a contract.
And it's also like this guy's 17. The big reason why all these coaches were against the transfer portal is because like
you're giving 17-year-olds this kind of option.
And it's about development and maturing guys. That's the reason why a lot of people went to certain schools is because they knew that they could develop, and a lot of NFL teams would look at these schools because they know the program that's there. Program's not there anymore. It's just based off of like how good you are at football.
Yeah.
But I think it because we don't want
the NFL to turn into the NBA.
And we don't want a league full of people who make really bad mistakes. We've seen a lot of like career-ending mistakes where people end up in jail or they make like all this stuff. And I feel like if you allow people to just
look at the NBA.
Yeah.
We're putting guys that are 18 into the NBA. I'm looking at you, John Morant. Like, there's all these people that like. It's just I just don't think it's good. And that's not to say that I'm wiser than thou. We're not exactly old men either.
Yeah.
But like, there's a level of it's like,
or at least put an age gap on the transfer portal.
Would you put my brother in the NBA?
Yeah, probably not.
Exactly. Would you trust that guy with that much money? Probably not.
I don't know. I feel like it's weird. I feel like there should be a rule to where like, especially like, because it's so rare that a 17-year-old's in college. I don't think he should be able to make decisions like that to where he can leave an entire program based off of one game. Maybe it's not. Maybe he's not. Other
but
problems
still, it
within
gets
there.
the conversation going. I just don't. I just think that. Fine, you want
I
to
think
let
it's going to
them
hurt him down the line. I think he's. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but you look at people like Marvin, who are like they come in, they work every day, and they're like a ready-made pro. I don't think.
And maybe he gets to the next place and he sticks, but
yeah. Well, I just don't think that switching schools. Like, what about that basketball player? She's on her like fourth school, like
wife,
that.
Haley Van
Lith. She's on her like fourth school, like that. Like, we don't want to see that in college football, where there are guys who are on their fourth school, like going in, and like there should be some sort of repercussion for that. I think what you said was dead on. It should be like you are ineligible for the next year. So if you really want to go to the school, you really
can.
The money's that great, and you really want to go to another school, you can. You just can't play for 1 year.
Yeah. I think there needs to be some sort of just some sort of repercussion. You lose 8 games, you lose something where if you decide to transfer, you lose some part of the next year.
Yeah. Or else, I mean, we will see it because there's tons of guys in college with terrible attitudes, and they used to get like weeded out. Like they would either quit or they wouldn't get drafted. But now what we're going to see is we're going to see these guys with terrible personalities. I'm not saying that this guy has a terrible personality. I don't know. But in general, what we'll see is every guy's moving every year based on who they think is going to win the championship. And people are going to be chip chasing in college.
Yeah.
And that's just such a weird idea to me that I don't really like that at all.
There's too much. Yeah, I don't.
And what happened to schooling? What happened to like getting your degree? Like what happened to that being really important?
See, and that's the thing that I think the Europeans have it right, because the way their system works is you play basically to like U16, and then everything after that is like semi-pro.
Yeah.
And there's no school anymore, but it's city based. It's city town based, and you grow up with this team, and then you get into like the national team, whatever. I think they've got it right. But that's a basketball
and what you said about the NBA, it does like if all these guys who are currently transferring and moving around, once the new generation of those type of guys get in the league, it will be like the NBA. Everybody's moving. Everybody's going. Nobody.
And that's the whole
there's
thing.
There's never
of
a guy
NFL.
who's on a team for 10 years anymore.
Right. And that's the whole point of the NFL is like you have the chance of actually developing, and there's like new stuff going on, and I just
you get your franchise guy.
I don't want it to be. It's the whole reason I stopped watching the NBA. I don't want the NFL to be that.
Yeah, I like having my boys. I like buying a jersey, and then I can wear that for like 8 years. You know, like I don't want to buy a jersey and then he leaves the next year. If I like the player, I got to buy a jersey every year because he's on a different team. I just want to stick to one.
Don't do it, Ryan. Stay with Jalen. Well, I guess Jalen's leaving you anyways. Maybe that's why.
It could be. But at the same time, it's like, it's because he doesn't think that the team without Jalen can make it to a chip, you know? But like, what if you get drafted to the Panthers? You know, like you will get, there is a chance if you're a really good player, you get drafted to a team that's not going to be good for a long time. Yeah. Like, how are you going to deal with that? That's all things that are within there. And we've seen how like other guys do it, you know, with really big names. They hold out to go, like Eli Manning, right? People are saying that Shador is going to do it, right? But we can't be doing that with everybody. Yeah. Everybody can't be holding out to go on a good team.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, there it is. We did it. I'm Devin. That's Zane. This is Buffet Sports. We talked about week 12 and then week 13. Next week, we're going to really start amping up the MVP talk. I guess it's kind of going to be time to start firing up the playoff generator. But ultimately, we got just a lovely slate of football this week. It's Thanksgiving. Enjoy it, you heathens. We love you. Ciao.
Good job.
Yeah, okay, good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe in. Dropping heat like every season. Underdog like Willie Beeman. Classic like